Desert Strike was released in 1992 by Electronic Arts, initially on the Sega Genesis, and then ported soon thereafter to other systems, including the Super Nintendo. I'll specifically be talking about the Genesis version here. The plot is loosely based on the Gulf War from the previous year, although it's obviously heavily inspired by it. So the story is that a psychopathic Middle Eastern dictator named General Kababa invades and overthrows an unnamed Middle Eastern emirate. A news report announces that the US is sending a chopper to deal with it, fearing an all-out airstrike would lead to chaos. You play as the pilot of said chopper in a third-person shoot-'em-up in an isometric view. Your missions are to destroy enemy weapons and installations, rescue hostages, capture enemies, and take down General Kababa, who is mostly referred to as simply the Madman in-game. And his insanity is demonstrated during the intro cutscene where he lowers a poor bastard into a pool of acid before looking over to the camera like, that was cool. You fly around utilizing tank controls, where up is always forward, down is reverse, and left and right turn the helicopter. The game uses momentum physics, so you won't stop dead in your tracks when letting go of the acceleration, which gives flying and turning a realistic feel. You do have the option to turn this momentum feature off, but I think it feels way more natural when it's on. You have 3 different types of weapons. Guns, which fire standard bullets. They do the least amount of damage, but fire rapidly. You get a shit ton of them, 1178 rounds, and they're more than enough to kill enemy soldiers quickly. Then there are the Hydra rockets, which are more middle of the road. You can fire them semi-rapidly, they do moderate damage, but you do get less ammo than the guns, 38 Hydras to be exact. Then there are the Hellfire missiles, which rip shit up, but you only get 8, and you can only fire 1 at a time. When you run out or run low on ammo, you can get more by picking up ammo crates, which fully restore all 3 of your weapons, but there is a limited amount in each level. You also have a fuel gauge to keep an eye on, which you can replenish by picking up fuel drums. The ammo crates and fuel drums are annotated on your map in the pause menu, and you can cycle through what you're looking for between items, missions, personnel, enemy vehicles, and landing spots, as well as explanations to your missions, and a checklist. Aside from that, you also have to keep an eye on your helicopter's armor, which is essentially your health meter. Take too much damage, and down you go. But armor repair crates are a lot harder to come by. There are far less than any other item, and they're not annotated on your map. However, you can also repair armor by unloading passengers. I know that doesn't make any sense, but when you drop off rescued or captured personnel to a landing spot, your armor will increase. You can only carry 6 people at a time, so you'll either have to make extra trips, or hold off from delivering them until you're more in need of armor. Your success is strongly related to how efficient you are at conserving armor, ammo, and fuel, so you'll want to be quick, but you also don't want to bum rush the mission and get yourself killed. This strategic element gives this game a whole added dimension that wasn't prominently featured in games of the genre all that often, at least not in 1992. There are only 4 levels, but they're grueling. You have roughly 5 to 8 missions in each, plus optional side missions like rescuing all the MIA soldiers, so despite the low number of levels, there's more than enough substance in each one to make the game feel full. At the beginning of the game, you have different co-pilots to select from. The only real differences between them are accuracy with their gunfire and speed of the winch when picking people up. I feel like it's way more important to have the better shooter, since you're doing that a lot more often, but it's up to you. There is one co-pilot named Valdez that excels in both categories, but he's missing in action. If you rescue him, you can use him, but it's not essential to completing the game. You get 3 lives, and when you lose them all, you get this for a game over screen. Damn. Keep in mind too that your weapons will not replenish after losing a life, so don't think you can use that as a shortcut if you have some extra lives handy. However, there are continues, at least in password form, that'll let you pick up from the campaign that you last left off at. The soundtrack is pretty good, but the tunes only show up during cutscenes between levels, the main menu screens, etc. During gameplay, there is no music whatsoever, which also adds to the realism, as the sounds of gunfire and vehicles magnifies the atmosphere. The game is a treat visually too. Sprites, backgrounds, and cutscenes have great graphics, although I will say that there isn't a lot of variety in terms of level design. The roads are different, but aside from that and the color shade of the sand moderately changing between stages, all 4 levels look more or less the same. I know it's Desert Strike, so there wasn't going to be all kinds of different landscapes or anything, but they could have at least changed up the base map. Desert Strike is a more than solid blend of action and strategy, and despite a lot of the missions being very similar, it doesn't get old and redundant. Plus, the game has aged quite well. So the game starts out with a cutscene where you're briefed on your mission orders in the first sector. Your main objective is to rescue an intelligence agent, but to get his location, you have to accomplish a few tasks. Destroy the radar sites, blow up the power plant, bomb the airfields, and hit the enemy command centers. Also, there are 12 MIAs scattered around the stage, which of course are great for armor replenishment. You don't have to pick these guys up to finish the stage, but I highly recommend picking them up when they're in the neighborhood of your missions, and then taking them to a landing zone when you're in need of repair. And similar to that, the ammo crates and fuel drums, you'll have to pick these up based on your own judgment, since it will vary how much ammo and fuel you use up between missions. But I'd say keep your eye on how much you have left, and pick some ammo up as needed that doesn't take you out of your way too much, in order to conserve fuel. And speaking of which, you'll want to maximize your fuel as well by avoiding picking up drums when you still have a decent amount. Just keep in mind where they are so you don't get stranded either. Anyway, on to the mission. First order of business is to wipe out the radar sites. There are 2 of them, where these blinking icons are showing. There are 2 anti-aircraft guns guarding each. They don't pack a lot of punch, but they fire rapidly, so use hydras to take them out quickly. Next order of business is the power station. Head up north, wipe out the 2, and save your Hellfires and Hydras by using the gun to blow up the power station, and mission 2 is completed. There'll be a rare armor crate left from the wreckage of the plant. Grab it at any point when you need to. Now onto the airfields. There's one close by the power station and another on the eastern side. But first, grab some fuel nearby if you need it. Drop off any MIAs you might have if you're low on armor, and from this point it doesn't matter too much which airfield you target first unless you need ammo. There are some close to both, so if you took some already from one of them, plan accordingly. These fields are guarded by 3 of these rapiers, which are more accurate than the anti-aircraft but fire much slower. And there are 4 of the anti-aircrafts in this area too. Although you don't have to destroy them all to successfully complete the mission. Just be ready to wipe out the ones that get in your way. You've got to take out all these planes, plus the buildings in the area. Watch out, because there are 2 soldiers hiding in these buildings after you blow them up, so get ready to fire. Use hydras or hellfires on the rapiers and anti-aircrafts, as well as the occasional VDA, which combines rapid rate with powerful cannons. Get these guys out of your way quickly. The hydras should do the trick, but hellfire can't hurt either. Use the guns on the soldiers and planes, unless fuel is more scarce than ammo at this point, because it will take a lot longer. Good news is that it's not just soldiers that are inside the buildings, but fuel and ammo too, so don't blow those up. Last on your list are the command centers in the northeast area. They're guarded with anti-aircrafts, drive-by jeeps, and soldiers camped out in these huts. This building here is your target. Blow up the one on the southern end, and when this douchebag in the soccer shirt comes running out, pick him up, and he'll give you the location of the intelligence agent. While you're in this area, it's a good time to go grab this dude by this plane crash. Turns out this is Valdez, the co-pilot that's awesome. Grab any fuel or ammo you might need along the way, drop people off for some armor, and fly north where the agent is. You've got anti-aircrafts and soldiers guarding it, plus soldiers that will appear from the wreckage of the buildings. Take them all out, and when you reveal the hidden staircase here, Hover over it, and you'll get a cutscene of you landing so the co-pilot can run in and retrieve the agent. But it never can be that easy. 4 of these VDA pricks will show up at the same time from all sides. Unload all your heavy artillery on them, go back to the staircase, and you'll get a cutscene of the agent climbing up. Your last mission is completed, so drop off your passengers and return to the frigate for your debriefing, and you're done with the stage. So even though you've rescued Valdez, you'll continue on with whatever co-pilot you selected at the beginning. In order to use Valdez, you'll have to reset the game and select him after entering the password. So you get a cutscene of the madman ordering his general to use their Scud launchers. The agent you rescued in the last stage has info on the location of a POW camp in the same area as the Scuds. Your missions are to destroy the radar sites, rescue political prisoners, destroy the power station, destroy the chemical plant, capture the Scud commanders while destroying the launchers, and rescuing the POWs. There are also 4 MIAs scattered about. Pick them up when your armor is in need of replenishment, or if they're on your way, as long as you don't overload your helicopter when you're on missions to rescue or capture people. First mission is the radar sites, and this is very much like the first stage. There's one directly eastward from the frigate, guarded by 2 anti-aircrafts, and the next 2 are northwest of here. But what I like to do to save on fuel is to work on a good chunk of the first 2 missions at the same time. These 3 buildings here are where the political prisoners are being held. As you work your way up the grid, taking out the radars, you can deal with the buildings where the prisoners are at the same time. These are guarded by these tanks called ZSUs, rapiers, and foot soldiers. Try to circle the tanks to avoid their powerful attacks, and send Hellfires or Hydras at them to take them out. Clear out any threats, and use your guns to take these buildings out to free the prisoners, and pick them up. There are 4 in each building. The other good thing about doing both missions at once is that these prisoners will serve as armor repair, and you'll be able to spread out these armor refills along both missions as opposed to racking them up all around the same time. There are 3 different landing zones to use, although you'll mainly be using the 2 along the shoreline to drop these guys off. Work your way from the eastern side to the northwest, and grab the ammo crate that's hidden behind the second radar, or leave it stashed away for later, as there aren't a whole lot of ammo crates in this level. Now you only have to rescue 10 prisoners to complete the mission, but you definitely want to rescue all 12 at some point, even if that means leaving 2 behind for later when your armor needs the replenishment. Mission 3 is to take out the power station. Head up north, wipe out the soldiers guarding it with your guns, and use the same weapon to destroy the station, which will also leave an armor repair crate behind. Next order of business is wiping out the chemical plant, which is in the southeast part of the map. It's guarded by 3 anti-aircrafts. Take them out, grab the ammo crate if you need it, destroy these water towers, and then blast the chemical plant to hell with your guns. Now you've got to capture all the Scud commanders to get the locations of the launchers. There are 6 of these guys scattered all across the map. Track them down, blow up these buildings that are guarded by either an anti-aircraft, a ZSU, or simply a soldier that's hiding inside the building, and pick up the commanders as they try to flee. After picking each one of them up, they'll give you a location of their Scud launcher. Use the map to track their locations and wipe them out. Now, they're guarded by anti-aircrafts, and while it may seem like a good idea to take out the vehicles first so you're not under attack while firing at the launcher, this time it's different because once you make your presence known, they'll launch the Scud shortly after, and you're fucked. After dismantling all 6 of them, it's on to the POW camp. You've got 4 soldiers in huts along the perimeter, plus 1 in the middle of the camp. Take them out, blast one of the 4 buildings of the camp with your guns, and you'll get a cutscene blowing the place up, freeing the POWs in the process. Then a fucking trio of ZSUs show up, plowing through to get in your way. Unleash your Hellfires on them, or Hydras if you're out, and go back to your rescue mission. 4 POWs will emerge from each building once they're destroyed, but remember you can only carry 6, so you're going to have to make at least 3 trips to get all 14 of the ones you'll need. Head to the landing zone on the eastern side. It's not far from the camp, just hopefully you'll have enough fuel. Once you get 14 of them, although I like to rescue all 16, you'll have completed the 6th and final mission. Drop off the remaining POWs and head to the frigate for the debriefing, and the stage is clear. In retaliation for the POW rescue, terrorists have taken over the American embassies, and UN inspectors have been taken as hostages. The missions for Stage 3 are to rescue the inspectors, destroy the bioweapons plant, destroy the ICBM missiles, save pilots lost at sea, destroy the power station, rescue hostages, capture the enemy ambassador, and liberate the embassy. So the first order of business is to rescue the UN inspectors. They're being held in this building up north here. Blast the tank, gun down the soldier, and pick up the inspectors as they come running out. There are 6 of them, but you only need to rescue 5 to officially accomplish the mission. Now to obliterate the bioweapons plant, which is in the northwest region, just a hop skip away from where you are. But you might want to hit up a landing zone to make room, because you also need to capture the biochemists. But because dropping off those inspectors is such an armor increase, I suggest going straight for the plant, and if your armor gets low during the mission, head to the landing zone to dump them off to maximize your armor situation. It's not the best for fuel, but it's such a waste to get your armor increased right away if you don't need it, and there are 5 fuel drums, so as long as you're efficient, it'll work out. There are 4 buildings that encompass the plant, but you only need to take out 3 to finish the mission. They're guarded by VDAs, so get them out of the way quick. There's also an ammo crate nearby. Grab it when you're finished with wiping out all the buildings and grabbed all the chemists. Now you must destroy the missile silos. There are 5 of them, and they're all scattered about and guarded by tanks. The missile silos are hidden under dunes, so you have to use the map as a guide for where they are. Shoot the vicinity with your gun, and don't play this game on mute for this mission, because you'll need to listen for the sound of bullets hitting their target, and then just keep firing once you have it. Once the silo is revealed, blast it to hell quickly before it launches, similar to the Scuds from the last stage. You only need to destroy 4 to complete the mission. I guess 1 isn't going to do enough damage for the US to care. Save the one up north for when you're approaching low fuel, because there's a drum right in the area, although it's guarded by a rapier, a VDA, and an M48, which take 2 Hellfires to kill, and fire powerful missiles, although they have a slow rapid rate, so dodge their attacks before firing, and save your heavy artillery for these fucks. There's also an armor repair crate hidden in the nearby dune. And then the missile on the south end has an ammo crate and an armor crate, so this one you can hold off as your optional 5th for when you need an armor increase. The missile is hidden under this other dune, but so is this prick, so take him out and be careful not to let either the fuel or armor crate get destroyed. Now to rescue the lost at sea pilots. There are 3 of them out on these rafts across the seaside of the map, being pursued by armed speedboats. Stay mobile to get away from their attacks, wipe them out with hydras, and pick up the pilots. You'll get info from one of them, letting you know that the Madman's yacht's defense will be lowered if you take out the power station. Remember to be careful not to hit the rafts and killing the pilots in the process. Grab each of the pilots, although you only need to rescue 2 out of 3 to complete the mission. It's good to get all 3 for armor replenishment so long as you don't take any hits, or you can leave one behind and come back for him later if you're in need of armor then. So now you need to destroy the power station, which is way out east. Drop off your passengers along the way, unless you're maxed out on armor, and head over. The station is guarded by 3 rapiers. Wipe them out and destroy the power station with your guns. Just make sure you don't overload on weapons on this rapier, because there's a fuel drum underneath that you don't want to destroy. So now you gotta rescue 12 hostages that the Madman is holding in his yacht. It's way in the southwest corner of the map. Head down there, and you've got 2 soldiers on the yacht firing at you, plus a speedboat and chopper on the south side. Stay up north and take out the soldiers with your guns. The yacht will act as a shield from the speedboat and chopper's attacks. In fact, they may save you some ammo because the fucking idiots can blow up the yacht. Take out the speedboat and chopper with your heavy artillery, and ignore the fact that the madman is escaping by speedboat. He's gonna get away no matter what, and you're just wasting ammo trying to kill him. Hostages will pour out of the yacht one at a time into the ocean for some reason. Pick them up, but watch out for the speedboat reinforcements that show up. Blow them to hell and pick up the hostages, although you can only carry 6 at a time, so you'll have to make 2 trips. Also, you only need to rescue 8 out of the 12 to complete the mission, so the remaining 4 you can leave seaworthy if you want to come back and grab them for armor repair later. I know it's fucked up, but the game almost encourages it. So now to capture the enemy ambassador, and destroy all 4 command centers. The compound is guarded by an anti-aircraft, a ZSU, and an M48. These are some heavy-duty defenses, so make sure your weapons and armor are maxed out going into this, or at the very least, keep an eye on your armor level, and once it gets low, retreat and replenish it from leftover crates or passengers you've left behind. Blow up the command centers with the guns once you clear out the immediate threats, and be ready when destroying this building, because there'll be another M48 hidden behind it, plus a soldier hidden behind this one, so even more bullshit to deal with. At least you're given a fuel tank that's hidden behind this one, and an ammo crate hidden behind this building, which is optional to destroy. When you obliterate the building with the ambassador, he'll come running out, so snag him up, and when you've done that and wiped out all 4 command centers, the mission is accomplished, and you've only got 1 left, and that's to liberate the embassy. For some reason, the embassy doesn't appear on your map, but that may be due to the problems with my ROM. More on that in a bit. The embassy is located here. Land your chopper, and you'll get a cutscene of the co-pilot wiping out the guards, and the embassy officials will board the bus. And you've got to escort them to the Navy SEALs camp in the southwest corner of the map. Now what sucks is, I had no way of getting footage of this because my ROM kept glitching out, the screen went into night vision goggle mode, and then crashed completely. I couldn't get beyond this point. Basically all you have to do is follow the bus and blow up all the shit that tries to attack. Along your way there'll be rapiers, roadblocks, 3 ZSUs, a VDA, 2 soldiers on a roof, and an M48. Also, shortly before the camp, there'll be a bridge that you'll need to shoot at to level off so the bus can get across the way, and once the bus makes it to the camp, the mission is accomplished, and you can head to the frigate for the debriefing and the stage is cleared. So now it's the final stage, and the embassy officials have given you the locations of the madman's nuclear weapons plant, as well as his presidential palace. The missions are to save the oil fields, stop the oil spill, and the rest is unknown at the moment. Well, first things first, the oil fields. There are 6 of them to deal with. They're all under attack by ZSUs. Wipe them out, and use the map as a reference to make sure they're clear from danger, because there might be one hanging around the perimeter somewhere. The second mission is to stop the oil spills. There are 3 of them along the coast, and you'll probably come across one of them during your travels to save the oil fields. If you want, you can kill 2 birds and deal with this along your way to save fuel, but there will be a lot of weapons used, because guess what? More ZSUs. So you'll probably have to pick up an ammo crate during all this shit. Thankfully, not all 3 are guarded by ZSUs. The other 2 have VDAs, or a VDA and 2 speedboats. The northernmost one with the speedboats also has a fuel drum, so keep that in mind when planning your course. Next mission, one of the unknowns at the outset, is to rescue at least 15 civilians who are being tortured in bomb shelters. There are 4 of them, 3 of which are guarded by ZSUs that are hiding out in the dunes. You can see the turrets sticking out of the ground. Blow them to hell, and use your guns to blow up the shelter and rescue the civilians that pour out of them. There'll be 4 in each shelter. The one closer to the center is guarded by M48s, and keep in mind that the northernmost shelter has a fuel drum nearby. Target that one when you're getting low on gas. This is a great mission to replenish your armor in between shelters when you drop these blokes off, and it's a good idea to keep the last 6 stashed away so you can get a refill during later missions if you take heavy damage. Next mission is to destroy the bomb parts that the madman is hiding in garbage trucks, but he's also using civilian hostages as decoys driving regular garbage trucks. You can tell the difference by what's loaded in the back. The map tells you jack shit about where you need to go, but the trucks are all traveling around in the southeastern region here, and there are 5 total to take down. You'll have to make sure you don't take out the civilians, so when you find a truck, make sure you identify the cargo. You might have to wait for it to make a turn so you can see it from behind, and then take them out using your guns. In this neighborhood, you'll have to deal with M48s and soldiers on rooftops as you scour the area. Try to stay out of their range and move quickly to save as much ammo, fuel, and armor as you can. Now you have to destroy the nuclear power plant and the cooling towers, and capture their nuclear scientists to prevent any more weapons from being developed. The plant is located toward the north, and it's heavily guarded, so this may be a good time to drop off some passengers and get an armor boost, as well as ammo pickups. You've got anti-aircrafts and crow tails. These fuckers take a ton of damage, and send powerful attacks your way. But they're at least slow, so you'll want to outmaneuver them. Attack the plant from the northern side. Most of the defenses are to the south, so you can use the buildings as a barricade to blast the building itself and the north tower. But you also have to capture the scientist who's in the building here. Be agile to avoid the crowtail's attacks, take it out with heavy firepower, blow up the building here to get the scientist to flee, capture him, and blow up the 2 towers. There's the one behind the building, and one on the north side of it. If you need ammo, there's a crate just south of the plant hidden under the radar, but it's guarded by anti-aircrafts. Once you capture the scientist, he'll tell you that nuclear weapons have been shipped to the bomber, and that the madman will try to reach it. But first order of business is to destroy the power station, which is way up north. This will weaken the defense weapons of the madman's palace. It's guarded by M48s on all sides. Wipe out a couple of them to give you room to hang back and blast with your gun to destroy the power station. An armor crate will emerge from the wreckage, but you'll have to clear out all the vehicles to get in there safely. Now that the station is wiped out, you can move on to the presidential palace over here. There are VDAs surrounding it. Similar to the last mission, clear some space and blast it to hell from one side, preferably from the side with the landing zone, because after blowing it up, you'll need to land and send the co-pilot down to capture the madman. But it turned out to be a trap. The co-pilot has been captured and taken to the madman's bomber plane. Stock up on fuel, armor, and/or ammo, and head to the northeast corner where the bomber plane is. Blast the stationary plane, but once you see the explosions, cease fire so you don't kill your co-pilot. He'll come running out straight away. Pick him up, and a ZSU will come after you. Take it out, and the bomber will start running. You can't let the madman get away, so start firing like, well, the madman. Stay to its right, cause all the rescue ZSUs will be on the opposite end. Keep firing until it explodes. The madman is dead as shit, and now you can fly back to the frigate where you get your debriefing and a vacation is awarded to you, as well as a personal congratulations from President Bush. So that's the end of Desert Strike, but this wouldn't be the end of the series, as Jungle Strike would be released a year later, but we'll save that for another time. And that wraps up this edition of Aqualung's Game Reviews. See you next time.